Welcome. On this channel, I do unscripted, unedited videos about Linux programming and stuff. I am currently working on a mini MMO learning exercise and leaning heavily on agentic coding to see where that takes me. And I think I'm going to dive right in. Previously, in last dozen videos or so, I had been experimenting with Gemini Pro, trying to create kind of a main game loop. And then after that, I had shifted over to Claude and used it to refactor the message queue. And now I'm kind of rethinking where I was with Gemini Pro and that main game loop. And that work was actually done in a just kind of a scratch directory. It's not actually incorporated into the game engine or the actual Space Captain repo. I think what I'm going to do in this video is I want to remedy all that. I want to bring it all together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and back out all of the existing code that is actually functional in the server and client applications, kind of get it back to a hello world. And then I'll go forward from there, and I am going to reprompt, and I'm going to use Claude, probably starting with the prompt that I had created for Gemini to do it, to let it try and build up those the base core parts of the application. Okay, so first thing is making sure I'm in the right folders here. We'll get there. Space Captain. And I guess I need to... There we go. That's going to bug me. Okay. So the first thing I want to do here is I just want to take a look at the code. I had been playing in those scratch directories a whole bunch, and I really don't remember the details of what we have in here. So let's just take a look in source. So the two files of interest are the server and the client, really. I just want to see what the main bodies of these applications are doing currently. Okay, so this is the client server. It is a signal handler. It's reading the state file. Okay, so this is way back. This has none of the this has none of the networking code in it. It has, so even further back, I had written some code to read and write the game's state to disk, and that's basically what's in there. So what we're going to do is I want especially the code related to source. I'm going to just use Claude here to empty that out and turn it. So I've been so I'm doing a lot of experimenting, right? One of the things I'm experimenting with right now is how much context to keep. Clearly, you spend a lot of tokens when you keep a lot of context. So I've been doing experiments where I'm clearing it out regularly, and then now I'm kind of in experiments where I'm trying to maintain as much state as I can, which is why I just asked it to familiarize yourself with the project. Clearly, it's already going to go read the Claude MD file and know everything that's in there, but I actually want it to take a scan of all the source code files right now, building up a very large context. When I was first using Claude, I would never get to compaction, but now more recently, when I've been doing this, I see that I actually get to the points of compaction pretty regularly. I'm a little on the fence as to whether it's helping. I think it definitely slows it down. But I also think that it is giving me currently is giving me better results for the work I had been doing. A little bit of experimenting. In between videos, I reworked the makefile, and that was where I was doing that experimenting mostly. I'm not exactly sure how many files we have here anymore, but it's probably around 30 or 20. No, it's not that high. It's probably around 20. So. What actually, I can start typing the prompt now. What I'm going to say is without changing. I'm going to say, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I'm essentially just going to turn it, I'm going to ask it to turn it back into a hello world without changing anything but server.c, convert, without changing it, except server.c, convert the server back into a simple hello world. A simple empty main loop. So I'm going to have it start up. How do I want to do this? No. Let's just go for an empty. Convert the server back into a simple empty hello world style program. Now, obviously, I could go in there and delete it. I'm a little bit curious if it's going to change. Well, I just asked it not to change anything else, but I'm a little curious. Yeah, it really just made it hello world. That's good enough. Now I'm going to have it do the same to client.c. So I just stripping those down to their bare bones. I don't want it to get confused because primarily the work we're going to do right now is in the main functions or, that core code. One of the things I got really particular about was how I wanted it to do commits. I imagine that I am going to experiment with a lot of different models and a lot of different coding tools. And so I very specifically want a nice, clean, simple attribution line to whichever tool I'm using in the commits. So in this case, you see co-author Claude and then the very specific model. I don't know that I'll do anything with that information in the future, but at the very least, it's interesting to have. I think that I will eventually go back and kind of do some comparisons, just anecdotal, right? Just looking at it to see what results I was getting. Now, I think the thing that I want to do here is I was just looking. These are, so the LPS repo is kind of the meta repo to Space Captain. So Space Captain will always strictly have just the code to do Space Captain in it. Whereas in some videos, I go off and I do experiments and they're not directly related. They're just other things. And that's what this LPS repo is for. In this LPS repo from previous videos, I have, I believe that this is the last one that I kind of started doing some experimenting in 51. So actually take a look at the prompt. Well, maybe. We'll read through this here. So let's take this. What I'm going to do here is so I just created a prompt.txt. I'll have Claude read this in a second, but I'm going to read through it right now and update it so that it does what I want. Write a C program named server in source server.c. We'll see what it does here. This was originally written, obviously, for a empty directory. So I'm going to update it a little bit here so that it understands. The server program should gracefully close its network connections and terminate when, on SIGINT and SIGTERM. Yep. The server should accept many long-running network connections on localhost port 4242. The server should provide an epo loop in the main thread that pushes messages onto a queue. Use the queue in source queue.c. The server should provide a, do we talk about messages yet? Yes. Use, I'm just going to shorten this to use message.c. We're going to go H. Is there a C? Tree of source is, and in message we only, we're message.h. So use message.h, use source q.h. It'll figure that out. The server should provide a worker pool that processes the messages on the queue. All other code for the server otherwise, I want to keep it localized. So there currently is a worker. Actually, you know what we should do is we should just get rid of all those extra files for now. Let's do that. So tree of source. Prompt is the only thing that's dirty right now. So I'm going to have it remove config game network and state. Config game network and state. So I don't know if this is gonna work out or not. But what I'm gonna do, we'll see, is remove all functional code from config.c, game.c, state.c, and what was the other one? But I want to keep log. So config game network. Config game network. Where's state? It is there. So config game network state. Config game and network. Remove all functional code from those files. Remove the associated tests. Run the tests to verify that everything still builds cleanly. Okay, so this is kind of a big change for it, and I probably could do it faster. I certainly could do it faster, in fact. But again, I like to experiment still right now, kind of testing what does and does not work well with it. Now, I can do this faster because it's 4 files and there's virtually nothing in them. But if this was a bigger refactor, okay, so this is config. If this was a bigger refactor, and let's say I was touching 20 files, I wouldn't really want to do that. I'd want to lean on the agent to do it. So it's kind of an experiment. Can it do it at all? Later on, I find out, can it do it bigger? This is game. Essentially, these were pretty empty pieces of code. The game provided an empty game loop, more or less. The config just loaded a binary format config off of disk. This one, oops. We're in state. State probably had the most code because it actually read and wrote the state file. But at this point, I'm not even all convinced that that's how it'll work. I may well be moving to external tools, or there'll be some state in the game, but I'm not sure that it'll write to disk. I may well be leaning on external databases to do that. Do you want to make this edit to network.c? Yes, I do. So that should be all 4 of them. Oh, I'll probably have to. No, I don't think I'll have to do any updates in the make file, but I'll ask it. RM tests, yes, remove those. I mean, another part of what I was doing before was just getting familiar with writing code in C. I haven't, I have a couple dozen hours under my belt now, but I hadn't been programming in C for 25 years. So part of even creating those files before was just, me relearning make and things like that. So it removed all that. It verified the bill still. No, we kept all the files, so it definitely doesn't. So it did run the tests. It says, that's right, I changed it. So these errors are not from the test. That's the logging coming from the queue itself. Notice the tests are passing here. So all looks good. 0 failures. Let's just commit that. So I think what I'll do here is let this commit, and then we'll work on the prompt for the rest of this video, but actually probably run it in the next, because it'll take me a few minutes to make sure that the prompt is sound and ready to go. Remove functional code from config game state network modules. Yes. And push. Okay. So, let's go back to the prompt file. Oh, damn. I probably just committed the prompt file, but that's okay. Nope, I didn't. Good. Vim prompt. Okay. Right. No, we're going to say update source server.c. The server program should gracefully close its network connections and terminate on sig int and sig term. The server should accept many long-running network connections on localhost port 4242. The server should. I wouldn't write this in this style anymore. It's a little too many. It's a few too many words, but I don't want to rewrite every line of this. And Claude will pull it off. The server should provide an epo loop in the main thread that pushes messages onto the queue. Use source. Let's do it that way. I'm going to put these. Oh no, I'll leave them where they're at. All other for the server. All other. I'm not going to do this instruction anymore since we emptied out everything else. The server should provide a worker pool that processes the messages on the queue. And for that, I'm going to say use source.worker. The server should expect messages to have a fixed length binary header followed by a variable length body. Break the server into a few we're just going to leave that one off right now. But let's the one part. I'm just going to leave that off right now. The message header should consist of two fields: the message type and the message length. The message body should consist of a null terminated string. Really, in the future, it's just going to be some data, but for now, we're doing that. The message types should be defined as an enum and message.h file shared by the client and the server. Provide 3 example message types: echo, reverse, and time. All that looks good. Generally had really good success with Gemini on this prompt. Ran it, several variations of it, and generally got what I wanted. Write a C program called client. The client program should write it. How did I word it up here? Update. So update source. The client program should connect to the server on localhost port 4242. The client should share config.h with the server. Just to be clear about that. The client program should run in a loop forever. The client program's main loop should randomly pause for 3 to 1 seconds, 0.3 to 1 seconds, 3/10 to 1 second. Then randomly select set wrap. Then randomly select and create one of the available message types and send it to the server. The client program should gracefully close its network connection and terminate when it catches SIGINT or SIGTERM. We did do that up here, right? SIG, yep. Okay. When writing programs, create a graphis.that file that explains the logical flow. And then I go through, let me make sure that I haven't, this is still what I want. So I don't believe I've changed this any. I don't want to do anything with making the dot file. And all of this is handled in the, almost all of it. Okay, so all of that is already well defined in the program. So when writing C programs, do not define any other feature test macros. Do not define any feature test macros in source code. Use fixed. Yep. Assume they are when writing. Yep. When programs provide an annotated make file. Nope. Provide an explanation appropriate. When writing C programs, make liberal use of asserts. That I don't want to say anymore. It's not that I might go back in and add in the practice of using asserts, but we're generally trying to error check, completely error check anything that any inputs. When writing C using variadic macros, ensure at least one argument is it'll mess that up, I think, but that's fine. Okay, so actually, I'll just leave that just like that. I think that this is a pretty good place to start for the prompt. In the next video, we'll pick this up and see if Claude Code can build the root, the base of this this application for us. I'll see you guys in the next video.